Hi, my name's Mariana, and I sometimes make videos on this channel, although it's been like 3 years since my last one. I wanted to come back and sort of rebrand myself for the new year. I know it's customary to transform during this time of the year, and honestly, I don't really subscribe to that too much. You can transform at any part of your life, at any stage, any month of the year. But for me personally, the past few years have been a weird transition time, and I found myself going into a really kind of dark place. I started to develop this weird shame around posting and this need for validation, and I noticed that a lot of the time and effort that was being poured into the videos wasn't giving me back what I thought I wanted, which was more views, more engagement. But then I quickly came to realize that what I enjoyed most was just making them and using my voice, which I don't do very often. A little bit more background about me is I'm a copywriter, and so most of my work is done on my computer or writing in a notebook, typing. So a lot of it's pretty solitary and quiet. And as I've gotten older, I realized I had this blockage in my throat and wanting to speak up for myself. And it started manifesting in different areas of my life. Once it reached a head, I decided it was time to deal with it and find ways to speak up again, even if it meant that it was just for me. I want this channel to be a place where I kind of refine or rediscover my voice, and where maybe if you're watching and you struggle with the same, you can do it with me. These are things that I want to work through in this new year, and I thought by sharing my voice again on a platform like this, it could be a good start. I also want to rediscover my love for performing. I did dance for 15 years of my life, and that was really one of my first loves. So I actually have a hip-hop class scheduled for tonight. Woo! I'm doing it! I said I was gonna do it, and I'm doing it. I'm going to my first hip-hop class of 2025. I almost didn't go. I was already finding reasons not to go, and I'm doing it. I'm so proud of myself. I don't know where these nerves come from. It's not that big of a deal, but I always get just like a tiny bit anxious right before I go to a class. I think it's just because it's been so long. I'm feeling so rusty, but I think that's why I know it's important that I do it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm feeling the discomfort, and I'm doing it anyway. Being cut off from the things I loved as a kid, over time I reached this point where I was having all this chronic pain and these blockages, and once you reach a point of no return or something gets so bad you have to deal with it, that's when you start to wake up to the ways that you're self-inflicting harm, so I want to do a little bit more of the things that scare me, and that's one of them. Getting back into those classes, and hopefully bucket list item back on stage this year. That's in some performance, some way. That would be awesome. I also want to talk more about my art and writing process. That's always been a part of this channel, but I have so much more to share. And I mean, in the past 3 years, I've changed so much as an artist and as a writer. I am actually developing a oracle deck, and that stems into my witchy sort of spiritual practice as well, which I want to share so much more about. I feel like I hid a little bit of that more esoteric spiritual side of my life for fear that people wouldn't understand me, and it's always that fear of being unincluded, of being rejected and abandoned, something I'm deeply working on. But it is such a huge part of my life, so much so to the point where I'm designing my own oracle deck, and I want to share so much about that. It's called Spiral Alchemy, and it touches on these themes of the blockages we put ourselves in, or cycles of repetitive struggle, or these themes that keep coming up. For me, it's this fear of vulnerability, fear of abandonment, and all these wounds that come from my past that I kept coming up, found them to be themes I kept writing about in my journals. And I pulled apart all of those individual themes for this deck, and I'm finding ways to help people alchemize them, finding ways to figure out where those started going wrong in your life, identifying the reasons for that, and then trying to heal them. So that's really where Spiral Alchemy stemmed from, and I've never been more excited about an art project. And then also just more about my witchy practice as a whole. I know I use the word witchy, and a lot of witches hate that because it kind of feels like you have one foot out the door. For me, really, the only reason I say that is because I'm still learning and finding my footing in this community. If I had to find a way to kind of figure out or label the process that I do or the path that I'm on, I would say I'm sort of like a elemental art witch. I combine the elements fire, water, air, earth, and my practices around the moon and the sun with my intuitive art practice and my writing practice at my altar, which is a windowsill, and I do readings and all these things. So I'd love to share more about that and the products that I love and the materials that I use, which are all very easy to find and cheap, and have changed my life in so many ways. And yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, I'm still pretty much the same as I was 3 years ago, although I've learned some new skills and some new coping mechanisms for a lot of the struggles that I've touched on this channel, from anxiety to depression to feeling stuck, feeling lost, struggling with your identity, trying to reconnect with your inner child. And that, I think, is really the core of this channel, and what I want to do in this new year is kind of show my process of breaking down those blockages and finding a way to prioritize play and discomfort again in ways that push me forward, and in the hopes that it helps viewers do the same. But also, this is just for fun too. So if you're interested in any of the themes I've just mentioned and you want to stick around with me, please do. I'm always looking to form more connections and community, and yeah, so I'll be making more videos in this new year. Expect a lot of witchy content on art and writing and books and wellness and a little bit of everything. So I hope you subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye.